So we started the business 11 years ago with tying a family nickname, Chiddy, with a passion for cheesesteaks, and we thought that the name Chiddy's Cheesesteaks was something that might have some runway to it. There was a void on Long Island for a good cheesesteak, so we decided to fill that void and bring a good, authentic Philly cheesesteak to Long Island, known as the Chiddy's Cheesesteak. So we started as a single food truck, like I said, about 11 years ago. The demand grew for our brand, so we added a second food truck a couple of years after that. Then we decided that there was room for additional growth. We joined forces with my now two partners, Darren Benveniste and Evan Deitch, who was a little camera shy back in the back. And we joined forces and decided to scale and bring this to more communities through brick and mortar. So in 2018, we opened our first brick and mortar, followed shortly thereafter by our second brick and mortar in Commack, New York. All these are on Long Island. And once we had two opened and we still saw that the demand was still very popular and growing, we went to the route of franchising, and that's where we came to SMB. Through a local connection, we were introduced to Steve and the team, and really, convinced that that was the path and that was the right way forward for us, for Chiddy's Cheesesteaks. Steve and his team were unbelievable in making us feel confident and walking us through the process. And a year later, after signing on with them, we had our rights to franchise in New York. Since that time, we've opened an additional 3 locations, all franchising: Commack, Oakdale, and Astoria, Queens. So we now have 5 brick and mortars, 3 food trucks, and 3 non-traditional outlets. We were fortunate to get an opportunity to display and sell our product in Citi Field through the Coca-Cola food truck 3 years ago. It did so well, and it was kind of a pinch me moment when you saw that first Chiddy's Cheesesteak going out the window at Citi Field. It was definitely a pinch me moment. We made it now, but it was experimental, and we had 2 months to kind of sell Chiddy's Cheesesteaks to the Mets fans, and we did so well that at the end of that time frame, the Mets came to us and said, "We'd really like you to stay on. We have a new home for you for the rest of the season." So of course we were ecstatic. What better? We're all 3 lifelong Mets fans. Mike, Darren, and Evan were all 3 Mets fans for life. So it didn't take much to twist of the arm to convince us to stay.
Yeah, the expansion with the Mets came pretty quick. We went from inside a food truck inside of Citi Field in the Coke Corner, where we had a 6-week run. After 6 weeks, the numbers were outstanding, and they brought us into a underperforming food stand at Citi Field with some other vendors that were in there, and it just exploded from there as well. So not only did we bring up our sales in that food stand, we brought up everybody's food numbers in that stand as well. And the Mets and the brass at New York Mets, as well as Aramark, took notice, and next year gave us our own food stand. So today we have 2 of them since then. In our 3 years at Citi Field, we've grown from having a 6-week run to having 2 of our own food stands within Citi Field. They are run by Aramark, not by Chiddy's. They run to our spec and our standards. They buy our products, they make our products to our spec, and fans are loving it. So we're extremely happy and satisfied with what's been going on there. It's been a blessing and an honor to be there.
And we recently just had our seasonal recap with them. Like every year we go in and we're kind of interested. Hopefully we'll be back. But they could not have been more happy with the results that we delivered to them, which actually makes it almost a no-brainer for them to have us back. So they were ecstatic to offer us to come back next year. They said they haven't seen numbers like this from any of their, I'll say, outside vendors coming in and having an opportunity to display their food. So that's kind of like a real validator for us when we look at the brand and look at where people have the opportunity to choose from different brands. We talk about the cheesesteak wars. They actually kicked the City Steak out of Citi Field for us to enter, and they could not be happier. We're selling the Citi Fielder now, and it's absolutely knocking it out of the park, pun intended.
Knocking it out of the park and knocking it out in our stores. So we added that SKU into our stores, and people are coming in and asking for it by name, which is fantastic. As well as, with the Mets brass sharing the numbers with us, we're in the top 50 SKUs at Citi Field. If you break it down between water, soda, French fries, burgers, to be in the top 50, it's unbelievable.
So one of the other things that I would say, well, Steve is going to want you to say, to make sure that we say, at SMB, it's all about the relationship, but at Chiddy's it is too. And one of the things that I think that makes our brand unique is that regardless whether or not we're at Citi Field where we're training Aramark employees or whether it's our own employees, they love to feel the brand and feel the passion behind the brand. Like people come back from college, our college employees come back, they can't wait to get hours, like it's not even work for them. So they love being part of the brand. We love our people, and no matter where it is, you feel a very positive vibe around our brand. And we think that that's, also one of the things that gives it a sustainable, gives us a sustainable future.